Hello guys, and welcome to Yakety Mac, and today we're doing a little tailgate tackle review. I'm going to talk about the Fluorokote line from Kastking. I picked this up recently, spooled it up on two of my reels a couple of days ago, and then used it all day in my tournament yesterday. So I've got some pretty good feedback, and I want to share my thoughts on this with you. Speaking of tournament, for those of you who are expecting a tournament review video, I apologize, but you'll have to wait until next month. Yesterday was a complete snooze fest, not just for me, but everyone involved. The winner was 71 inches. He was the only person that had 5 fish. Second place was like 37 and a half. So this is the second tournament in a row now, which they've just been hard to find, and the ones you do find are small. The big bass for the tournament was 17 inches. That's a nice fish, but nothing else was even close to that. So a lot of 12 inchers, 12 and a quarters, 12 and a halves. You know, the only thing for me that I can say is at least I didn't skunk this time. I did submit one fish, 12 and 3/4. You see him right here. Had a second one that broke my heart right at the boat. Just as I was going for the net, he spit me out. Had a change of mind, I suppose, and decided not to cooperate. So that's how it went for me. No point in putting a video out of that, nothing to show for it. I sure hope that it gets better. You know, the only thing that I can take away is that the whole field is struggling right now in these first two tournaments. So, you know, maybe I'm not as bad as I want to believe I am. As I want to feel sorry for myself and be like, man, I totally suck. But, you know, maybe that's not the case. I don't know. We'll see. Everyone is having a hard time right now. It's got to heat up sooner or later. So with that being said, guys, let's talk about this fishing line. So the reason that I picked this up is I've just recently started experimenting with fluorocarbon line, about a month ago maybe, if that. And there's aspects of it that I like, but the one aspect that I don't is its cost. And I didn't buy premium fluorocarbon. If I were to go out and buy something like some of the Sagar, which I believe that's probably considered the most premium, that's a lot of money. And to be changing it out all the time. And the one thing I will say about fluorocarbon, I've used Yozuri hybrid line, and then mono is after about 2 or 3 uses of it, I don't like the way it feels anymore and I want to change it out. Well, that gets very, very expensive with fluorocarbon. So I found this, the Fluorokote, which is a polymer line that is coated in 100% fluorocarbon, considerably less expensive. This was 17 bucks for a roll of 500 yards, 12-pound test. And so I thought, well, let's give it a try. The claims that Kastking makes are a lot of the same properties of a fluorocarbon line, virtually impossible in water. I will agree with that claim. Extreme abrasion resistance. I'm not necessarily on board with that. I did have the line break on me while I was retying a knot. And so now look, maybe it had some nicks in it or something, but I didn't feel them, but I wouldn't exactly call that extreme abrasion resistance. Braid is extreme abrasion resistance. But anyway, and then it says superior castability. That's where I'm going to take some exception with Kastking here. I like this line except for one thing. And when it talks about extreme castability, that's only if it doesn't bury itself in the reel. And that's my biggest problem with this here. Anytime, I had 2 hook sets yesterday, and then anytime you get hung up or whatever, anytime you put some tension on that line, it buries itself into the reel. And then your very next cast, it stops short, and you may have a little bit of a backlash to deal with or whatever because it catches, it just bunches up on the reel. So for me, that is a deal breaker. I'm going to take it off of both of the reels and I will not spool it back up again. I may continue to use this as like a leader material for throwing my flukes, but that's a hassle and I don't want to deal with that. And it was extremely aggravating. Probably happened to me at least a dozen times yesterday between the 2 reels. And I was throwing fluke on one, and then the other I was throwing moving bait stuff like crankbait and a swim bait with an underspin. And so the swim bait with the underspin is the fish that I did the hook set on that changed his mind at the boat. Very next cast with that one, same sort of thing. So I don't like the fact that it buries itself. Outside of that, I didn't have any real problems with this line. It did worry me a little bit when it broke while tying a knot. You know, didn't instill a lot of trust in me. So that's my take on it. It's an okay product. But it's not something that I want to put my faith in, and it's that hassle of burying itself is not something that I want to deal with going forward. So that's my take on the Kastking Fluorokote. I gave it a shot. I really like a lot of Kastking products. This is just not one of them. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you as always. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you are so inclined. And look, no matter what you've got going on in your life, I hope you'll always take some time to get outside and play.